Good evening and welcome to Delhi. We are in the heart of India's capital. Just a little further away from us is the beautiful India Gate. We are at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium. It's a lovely evening and we are about to decide the 11th and 12th place in the Hero Junior World Cup. It's the Young Bucks of South Africa who are about to take on Argentina's Albi Celeste to decide these places in this particular Junior World Cup. It's been a mixed tournament for both teams, but this is their chance to finish it on a high. Both with scoring woes of their own. We have had 190 goals in this competition thus far from 38 matches, but only 10 of them have come from these two teams combined. So that tells you a bit about their scoring problems, but they'll hope to put it all behind and put on a good show for us this evening. South Africa, as always, in predominantly green, and up against them in blue and white are Argentina. And as always, the first course of action will be the national anthems of the two countries, beginning with that of the home side for this fixture, South Africa. Both these teams came to these Junior World Cup matches with fairly mature teams, and that's why they'll be a little bit disappointed with how low they have eventually finished. In fact, in 8 previous Junior World Cup appearances, the lowest ever for Argentina has been 7th prior to this, so they will definitely finish lower than that. And as for South Africa, they were 15th in the 2009 edition, so compared to that, it will be a favourable finish. But having begun with a victory against England 2-1 in their opening match, it's only gone a little bit pear-shaped for them since then. Let's tell you about the two teams for this particular fixture. For South Africa, some of the men to watch out for. Only 3 goals scored for them. One of them has come from the skipper, Dylan Swanpole. The other one from their penalty corner specialist, Matthew Brown, number 3. And the only other goal has been scored by Andrew Manson, number 6, against England. They are coached by this man, Darren Gallagher, 36-year-old, was part of the South African team in the 2008 Olympics, where his head coach, incidentally, was Greg Clark, whose Indian junior side will be in action next against Pakistan. The Argentinians, well, there's only one man who stands out as a real superstar, Gonzalo Peña, number 2. I can tell you that last year when these two teams, the senior teams, met in the Olympics at the Riverbank Arena, he got a hat-trick of penalty corners in Argentina's 6-3 victory. Also watch out for number 11, Lucas Martinez, who's been quite outstanding. For Carlos Genero, their coach, who was a part of the 1988 and 1992 Olympics, besides also being a part of the 1990 World Cup squad. The umpires for today, Ahmed El Said from Egypt, and he's joined at the other end by Diego Estebanez from Spain, and Bruce Bale of England will be the video umpire for this particular fixture. René de la Paire of South Africa has been quite outstanding as a keeper, and his opposite number today is Thomas Santiago. It's Argentina who get things moving in blue and white stripes, and defending their goal on the left, up against them South Africa on the right. And I'm pleased to say that I'm joined in the commentary box by former GBR high performance director. And speaking about Genero's performance in the 1988 Olympics, well, David Faulkner went all the way and won gold with Great Britain. Good evening, David.
Yeah, good evening, and looking forward to this. I think you're quite right, both teams were pretty disappointed that they're playing in this fixture. Argentina especially, if you look at their pedigree at Junior World Cup level, that's and supported a lot of their senior success, they would particularly be disappointed. South Africa could deem themselves a bit lucky, only scoring 3 goals to play in this playoff side, but that's how the pool system works.
This time around moving forward for the first attack, but it's nicely snuffed out. Thomas Santiago, interestingly, was rested in the previous match in favor of Thomas Riarte.
Yeah, so he ball carried here, kept the ball on his right side, but he came out so quick and covered that angle. That was a good bit of goalkeeping.
Chad Cairncross from Eastern Province, very exciting talent. A lot of the South Africans have had some exposure at the international level. One of them is Ignatius Malgraf, who's got this ball in, and it did pose a few questions and came off a foot. So the first penalty corner comes for the South Africans.
It's a really good start for South Africa. 2 opportunities. Ball broke behind him. He carried to the right to get his shot away, and it then hit a foot. He tried to get his stick on the reverse stick, but onto his foot, and that's a penalty corner.
Man under pressure, Joaquin Trezza, who's been consistent on a few occasions for Argentina. They have been slightly more profligate in terms of defense. Conceded 12 goals as against 8 for South Africa. Speaking of South Africa's missed chances, how much did that come back to haunt them? Damien Kimpley missing pretty much an open goal against New Zealand, even without the keeper. But here's their chance to put all of that behind and get themselves ahead in this particular match.
2 castles at the top of the circle for the penalty corner as well.
The captain Swan Paul with the injection, stopped by Mohamed Mia, the vice-captain, and it's nicely converted. Driven with a lot of power, and it's that man again, Matthew Brown, with his second goal of the penalty corner and his second goal of this Hero Junior World Cup.
He got a lot of leverage from that. It went out to the left castle, and it was still on its way up as it hit the back of the net. You can see how high that went into the corner. That's an outstanding finish.
Some joy for the team, and that is effectively the first goal that they scored in 200 minutes of this campaign. The last one came in the 13th minute against Malaysia, whom they lost to in spite of having gone 1-0 up. Talk about crazy statistics, that's one which they have just set right. And what a good time to do it, and it will open up this game now. Argentina will be forced to come out. Early doors, always good to get a goal in. This is Manuel Sacchetti, who's been one of the standout performers for this young Argentinian squad.
Interesting how Argentina now settle back into the game and get their pattern of play going.
Fernandez Onega was looking to work it down the right. A couple of good blocks coming in. Eventually, the free hit does go to the Argentinians. Yeah, gets on the ball and switches flanks over to the left, looking for the run of Coelho, who's always a threat when moving forward. Scored an outstanding goal in their opening match against Australia, which they went on to lose 2-5. Then a tight finish against France, who have now found themselves in the final tomorrow. Oh, here they come, Argentina moving forward into the box, goes for a shot. Perhaps not the best decision there.
think he just let the ball drag ahead of him and went wider and wider, and then he was out of control. So as you can see, the ball came across to him to the right. He carried it and carried it, kept going, and just most probably didn't get the pace of the ball. And he was really looking, what he should have been looking for is to put it across the goal.
Good pacey start to this game, and that's what you expect from these two teams. Just been a little bit under the boil. Matthew Brown, the scorer of only the second goal, the only man to get to 2 goals thus far.
So here's the corner again. He picks it up really early. It was a quick corner around because the push-out was very, very high pace, and the #1 runner never got anywhere near it.
Also missed out on a penalty stroke against Malaysia. So a few chances that they've missed, must be said in fairness, but they have eventually got that 4th goal in this campaign. And sometimes 1 goal is all you need to win a match. They will be put under pressure though. Moving forward with a lot of vigor and pace was Carlos Ibarra.
Argentina just settling now and just getting their stick on the ball and getting their shape. You can see that because South Africa have gone deeper and deeper.
Monha, the right fullback, was looking to set this ball up. He's had a mixed tournament, much like his teammates. Began well, looked quite impressive in the first couple of matches, but as they tapered off the last match against India, must be said in fairness, India probably played their best game of the Hero Junior World Cup thus far. That will result in them taking on Pakistan for the right to finish 9th in this Hero Junior World Cup. That's coming up not so long from now, about a couple of hours.
And who would have predicted that?
Yes, you were here for the Senior World Cup, weren't you, David, where the first night saw India and Pakistan taking each other on in a pool match, and the tickets, if I remember correctly, were sold out about a fortnight in advance.
Yeah, it was. It was a great evening. England had played Australia early in the day, and we beat Australia for the first time in 25 years. And we were fortunate enough to have the numbers in the stadium, which obviously we don't have here today. And the India-Pakistan game was a fantastic atmosphere.
Still is building up though, just a reasonable crowd, and we're expecting some more to come in. But at the moment it's about this match, South Africa, Argentina. Under pressure, South Africa, the last few moments, and they'll welcome this break of getting this ball over to the opposition half.
Bit of an unforced error there. You know, Argentina worked so hard to get the possession back. They could do without some unforced errors like that, because some of their players had just recovered from the defence, and actually what he wanted to do is just get some small linkage play going.
They of course don't have their full complement of 18 available today. Diego Paz is out due to injury. Has been a good presence in their defence. And the last unforced error that David was referring to came from Ibarra, who's just had a couple of indifferent games. Has shown that he can be a solid presence in the middle of midfield. Now here comes South Africa moving forward. This is looking promising, and it's a penalty corner. Very smartly done by Daniel Sibbald.
So as the ball is transferred across, penalised there for the stick tackle, because you know, you could argue this was a stick block, but he got it so far ahead. He blew that for the stick tackle that came in from behind.
They have already converted one of these chances, so South Africa have looked switched on thus far. If they do get a second goal, then it will really set this match up. Having said that though, as we saw in the previous game, an outstanding fight back from England after going 2 goals down. All teams playing with a lot of freedom, because there is literally no pressure, only the pressure of placements and pride to play for. Once again, Matthew Brown right at the top of the D. In comes Brown. The initial save is made. It's nicely done by Thomas Santiago.
Didn't quite get the leverage he had on the first corner there, I think.
making an impact. The defender from Southern Gauteng, that being Matthew Brown.
If you see from the corner, still went to the left castle, but he had, if you notice that time, Brown had to do a little bit of a jink with the ball before he flicked away, so most probably didn't get the speed of ball into the goal, towards the goal that he had with the first one.
He's been probably their standout performer. He's been quite solid in defense, and when moving forward, has always looked one of the more likely players to score, especially from those set piece situations. Little over 11 minutes into the 11th minute, and it's pretty even game at the moment, even though South Africa lead by that one goal, but the last few minutes have seen a few more waves of attacks coming in from the Argentinians. Nothing particularly scary to bother René de la Paire in the goal. Goal scorer Brown. Well worked by his teammates, but almost giving possession away. Still retaining it though. Ross Hetham though gives the ball away and just impeded in his run.
Argentina are pressing really well when South Africa are on the ball.
And they win their reward, and this will bring their captain into play.
And I think from there, they were pressing, they won the ball, but when they did get the free hit outside the D, South Africa lined no defender up, so he had a free run into the D and just deflection off the stick up onto the leg. So he just there, and then thank you very much. And the umpire was in very clear position to make that decision.
Foot of the defender Daniel Bell, and how costly could that prove to be? Matthew Brown, of his first attempt, converted. And Argentina have somebody who's renowned in the world game as one of the best finishers from these situations. Gonzalo Peña, hat-trick for the senior team against the senior South Africans in the 2012 Summer Olympic Games. Can he bring them back into this? Here he comes, and indeed he can. Takes a couple of deflections along the way. Half stop nearly, but a lot of ferocity in that drag flick. 1-all.
It was. The goalkeeper was stretched out wide. Now, whether he'd taken a position wider to the post, he'd gone out to the left castle. Yeah, he had, and I think it split the man on the line and his left kicker. So was he from behind? Yeah, and he just didn't really just pick up on the pace of it.
It's already been a battle of the penalty corner specialists, and it's even Stevens at the Major Dhyanchand National Stadium. Gonzalo Peña cancelling out the strike from Matthew Brown. And that means that we really have a game on. Argentina with a little bit of rhythm going into the last few minutes of this first half.
And even though they went down early, they have actually got their shape back. You know, South Africa had those quick two early chances, but since then really Argentina have just slowly taken control of the game.
Picked up in the midfield by Diaz. Back with the Albi Celeste. Down to the right, Monha. It's a beautiful through ball. Well worked yet again. Ibarra gives possession away.
I wonder if Ibarra needed to rush that actually, because they'd set up some space behind and he had a couple of options, one down the flank and one inside for him.
Back to Bell. This time getting some support from Swan Pole, who's put under pressure. The captain just emerges with the ball. Those 50-50 balls are pretty much going Argentina's way, just showing that the rhythm of the game is slowly swaying towards the South Americans.
But it is, and Argentina are getting more out the pressing that they're putting in at the moment and getting more unforced errors from passing from South Africa.
Another impressive performer for them. Sacheti down the right. Turning it back. Oh, just looking for some space to go for the shot. Still got possession, still hustling his way through. Potenzoni. Guido Potenzoni, one of the younger players in this team. Most of them are 20 and above. He's one of them who's still a teenager, just 19 years of age. Argentina, of course, will have one eye on the World League finals, for which they return to New Delhi in just about a month's time. And some of these young players, no doubt, will want to impress the senior coaches.
I expect that's not just Argentina. I think there'll be a few sides playing in that top 8 tournament. Will a few players, their view on whether they're going to rest or not, but I can certainly see that happening. And in some nations, see, because they're full-time, they have that option available to them.
Oh, this has been very well received, and he's just at the edge of the box. Eventually goes for the shot, but squirting it wide was Kimfley. No problems for Santiago.
Kimfley did well there because he rolled out, put it across, and actually I think he'll be disappointed if there were not more South African forwards on the end of that near post and far post.
Closest to it was Manson, but just didn't react on time. Nevertheless, this ball has been picked up by the South Africans. It is Manson on the ball. Got some options to try and pass it to. This is nicely worked. Oh, needed a run coming in. It was coming in from Manson. Wasn't too far away and was quite the ideal ball from Glutz.
Yeah, Glutz's ball. I think Manson was very close to that. He did very, very well here to get across to the left-hand side, pass it across. Oh, that was very close.
Just a bit too quick for him, but nevertheless, good play from the South Africans. And that's more of what they need to do, perhaps, to unlock this very methodical Argentinian defense.
So as you can see, the carry there, he puts it, and the secret there was he put it across early. And maybe the slide should have started early as well. So as it came there, placed across. The goalkeeper had already been committed.
None of the South Africans play for the same club, KwaZulu-Natal Coastal. That might explain some of this great telepathy that they have. This time, though, it doesn't really help. Conceding a free hit, Grant Glutz, but a good bright start to this half for Grant Glutz. Well-deserved rest for Matthew Brown. Just a reminder, this is for the placement of the 11th and 12th positions. 4 other places have already been decided. 16th went to Canada. And Egypt earning the right to be called the 15th team, thanks to their 3-0 victory. And then quite an exciting all-European clash, which was claimed by Spain, 3-2 against England. It gave them the 13th position. Dylan Swanpoel looking to dribble his way through, but gives possession away.
Argentina did really well to win that ball. Bit unfortunate there, they just came off the end of his stick.
Combining well up front, aren't they? Especially the likes of Martinez in there. Was a beautiful ball coming in. And Martinez always has this knack of finding himself in the right position at the right time.
He pulled away to the far post. I just wonder if the ball skipped for him there. And he couldn't quite. And I think, you know, it's easy from here, isn't it? But I just wonder if he could have stayed lower for longer for that deflection.
One thing's for sure, for the first time this evening, Delapere had to put on his dancing shoes. Should be said the second time. The first time the ball went past him into the goal. Again smacked in with space, and again looking for Martinez. So a very, very deliberate tactic, which seems to be yielding some dividends. Once again into the box. In a maze of legs. The Argentinians look like they want to contest this, but it has been given as a penalty corner in any case.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't know who went to the umpire, but to be fair, he already said, and then South Africa to challenge the decision now.
The tackle of your stick of the attacker. Okay, so what tackle of the attacker stick or your stick? Okay. Okay, Bruce, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you. The South African defender is claiming for a big tackle inside the deep before the foot of the South African defender. So can you check that, please?
This is quite a busy set of play, actually. So the ball came off the South African stick. The Argentina forward came forward. There's the foot. But I think the player was at Mo, where the foot is hit here, what he's saying is his stick was taken first. That's why it hit his foot. Sorry, Mia, sorry. So there, he's saying his stick was taken, and that's why he couldn't recover, and then it hit his foot.
Either way, will be a big call here. There's still 16 minutes left in this first half. South Africa don't want to be down with their referral and to concede this PC.
Yeah. So all Mir is saying is, I couldn't get back to the ball because my stick was being held. Umpire standing to attention. I don't know if he's under orders.
Be a big moment. The outcome will be, of course, on the referral, as well as this penalty corner situation, of which Argentina are so lethal. Will Gonzalo Peña go yet again at the South African goal, but depends on the outcome of this particular referral from Mohamed Mea.
Diego, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
I have a decision for you. It's a defensive free hit, fouled by the attacker on the defender. South Africa keep their referral.
It's a free hit for South Africans.
Defensive free hit.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, right decision. I think it was quite clear from the replay there that all Mir was saying was, well, yeah, it hit my foot, but I actually couldn't get back because my stick was being held.
It's a good bit of judgment from one of the senior members of the squad. Mohamed Mea, the vice captain, and one of 5 players who are regulars in the senior setup. Swanpole, the skipper, also part of that. Malgraf, Glutz, and Taylor Dart. Ross Gonzalez looking to send this one in, and it's a penalty corner at the other end. The South Africans not, or rather the Argentinians not too pleased with it, but they haven't refereed it yet, have they?
So I think the Argentinians just testing the umpire there. Umpire's very clear, and he's made the decision. So as the cross comes in, well, it goes to the right here and puts this cross in really early because, well, it's not clear from that angle. I'm assuming it hit a foot.
Yes, and it was an immediate decision from El Sayed. This will be a better angle.
Yeah. He dropped his stick. The ball came across. Well, no, it hit the stick. That's what he's been penalised for.
So this could be yet another opportunity for South Africa. They've had a couple of chances, and of course one of them was converted by Matthew Brown. He is this time around shaping up to be the second attacker from where we are sitting. Grant Glutz is the one who's closer to us. As always, the injection will come in from the skipper, Dylan Swanpole. Not very clean in terms of how they collected it, and it's Argentina now come away with the ball.
And not for the first time, the ball had lifted there on the D.
Peña working this one through for Martinez, and he wins a free hit for his team.
That's a great pass. Saw the D was absolutely jam-packed with South Africans.
Oh, a couple of deflections, eventually a chance here, and they do sound the board. Just about for Argentina.
And that all started from the aerial ball from the right-hand side with a free hit where they opened up the D to look to get that ball in for a deflection. So there it goes, right across, taken nicely, just looked for that deflection. 1, 2, and then came in on the reverse stick to put that in. Very well played, Argentina.
And it's a man who has always threatened when he's been in and around the box. Lautaro Diaz gets his just reward in the shape of his second goal. Got one goal against India. And now his second in this Hero Junior World Cup puts Argentina one ahead. They were trailing 1-0 at one stage, but now they've come back fighting into it. Red-hot contest with good skills on display from both teams. As we did think, that early goal from South Africa just setting the pace for what has been a good quick first half. So this time coming off the foot. Error from Ruiz.
Well, I think there was an incident just before, but I think San Diego has just been penalised for not getting 5 metres from the ball. So here's the original free hit. He knocks the ball away. The umpire said no, that wasn't an infringement here, but the player coming back, San Diego, just wasn't 5 yards. That's pretty clear.
Playing with fire, the Argentinians, because they don't want to give too many chances to South Africa. Already had a few of those, and Potenzoni has been given the green card for that.
Double castle again from South Africa.
Oh, that was hit with some power, but dealt with quite easily in the end from Santiago.
Yeah, I think that was pretty straightforward. It was at him. It did come quickly, because you could tell just by the reaction of his head with his glove, but yeah, good bit of goalkeeping. So as it comes to the left castle again, straight at him there. Pretty comfortable, really.
Had a much better game than his counterpart, or rather his teammate Thomas Riarte, who started against India and looked all at sea, especially with Gurjinder Singh when he went in for those drag flicks. Just a little bit more reassuring, I'm sure, when the more senior goalkeeper takes charge.
You can see Argentina, when they win the ball, their forwards are getting high very, very quickly, and they're looking for that direct pass straight in. If not, then they'll manipulate that ball to look for coming down either flank by being patient with the ball.
And this free hit will be taken by Ibarra, who's moved forward a lot more than he has done in past matches. Oh, he's found a man inside. Still a scoring opportunity. Martinez finishes it off. In fact, it might have been a second there for Lautaro Diaz, but nevertheless, what matters is Argentina have pulled further away from South Africa thanks to their third of the night.
This is the first one. He carries into the D. He'd gone 5 yards, and then South Africa just didn't get their stick on the ball, and that's a great finish. So he carries through here, goes to the left, and got his backhand in really quickly. And what was really good about that is he kept it low enough. And when I say, I know it went into the roof of the net, but a lot of players you've seen this tournament is going over the bar.
Joaquin Coelho with a fine goal poacher's instinct displayed, which pulls Argentina into a 3-1 advantage against South Africa. They've really taken this game by the scruff of the neck, the Argentinians. And that was after a bright start by South Africa. Those will be reflected in the numbers.
Yeah, see, you know, when we look at South Africa's very good start, Argentina have just slowly taken over. Possession, then the circle penetrations, and then the shots on goal. But those 3 shots do show that, you know, South Africa can still be a threat.
And just to emphasize, they got that third goal while one of their men was still off the pitch. Potenzoni was just serving out his 2-minute suspension following a green card in the 23rd minute. Puts in perspective how good they've been since conceding that early goal. South Africa must come up with some inspiration of their own. They found goals difficult to come by in this Hero Junior World Cup. Need 2 at least, and need to keep their slate clean to take this match through to a shootout. Here's their lone goal scorer tonight, Matthew Brown. Swan pole. Coelho, the goal scorer, the third. But Ibarra has had a good match and played a role in this goal as well.
Yeah, he has. And this is his decision around the top of the D. 1, 2, had gone 5 yards, laid the ball in, and then South Africa just didn't get hold of it. And as he carried it through, fantastic finish. And as I say, he kept it down. Yes, in the roof of the net, but we've seen so many times that ball go over the bar.
And beating a goalkeeper of the pedigree of Delapere, who was also on the move to try and swiftly close down the angle. That just shows the skill of the young man, Coelho.
And South Africa too often now have been suckered into cheap corners. I don't know if it's tiredness or the structure they've got, but Argentina are past masters of just laying it on a foot.
At any one time, there are 5 or 6 Argentinian shirts getting into their D. Excellent hustling.
Yeah, really good. And Swampole could have been a little bit lower there.
Nevertheless, well done by Perez Pesado. Thus far, a 100% record from the penalty corners. Here they come once again. Still with Argentinian possession. Oh, looking for the deflection and wasn't too far away from it either.
Umpire played advantage from the running out, but I think he got hurt. He's still hurt on the ground. I wonder if I'd been South Africa whether they'd get the ball out. So yeah, so he got right. He ran down, and I think actually Argentina wasted a fantastic opportunity there.
Here's another one which could come their way. Fighting for everything, Martinez. And some committed defending, just gets the ball away, but there's no doubting the fact that South Africa are under pressure and they'll welcome the half-time hooter when it comes. Still in a fair amount of pain.
It was a green card there. I think it was Brown. As we see, he ran just out of line, but as the ball came loose here, he didn't hit it flat, did he? Perez, I think he'd be disappointed with that.
And at this angle, you will get to see that Lotario Diaz was running in very close to it. This is the ball hitting the knee of Chad Cairncross.
And Monjo was on the far post for that deflection as well. Really good position.
So Argentina definitely ticking the boxes in this first half, and it will take something quite special from the young Boks to come back into this as a contest. Mentioned right at the top of the telecast that currently there is a 5-match test series going on. And Matthew Brown and his senior teammates, South Africa, currently trailing 2-0. First match won by Argentina 4-1, then a narrow 1-0 victory in the second. And the third test will be played in a short while from now at about 3:30 local time in South Africa, so about 7 in India.
2v2.
This is their opportunity. Must try and pounce on these. Just take a deflection.
I think he was a bit surprised the ball had come all the way through to him. And that was blown once again against Manson because he played the ball straight in the D without going 5 yards.
These placement matches can be a little bit tricky, can't they, David, in terms of how do you approach them as coach? Would you want to give as many of the other players an exposure? Do you go for the kill? Do you go for a victory to try and sign off?
Well, that's a good question. I think it depends on what nation's approach to under-21 hockey is. Is it about the team, or is it about looking for future internationals? And I think that philosophy is different across the nations. I think there's a little bit more bite in this game than was the first two. You can see that, but that's mostly because we're getting closer down the rankings from here. But for me, you know, they're playing for their country. They'll want to finish and be the best they can from what they can, and get more and get as much out of the tournament as possible.
Oh, this is nicely picked up. It's a chance for Malgraf, but again, well done by Santiago. He's off his line though, and just in the nick of time, the whistle's blown. So just an opportunity missed, but some useful work from Malgraf to put pressure on Santiago.
Yeah, Santiago came out well to cover it. I'm just wondering whether he realised when he cleared it with his stick, he could have actually cleared it out to the side rather than directly back to the South African forward.
And once again, South Africa just on the cusp of picking up possession, but a good bit of defending from the Argentinian skipper. He's had a good tidy game, been involved in a lot of attack, but also solid in defense. The most experienced player in this squad, 42 appearances for the senior side. Manson wins a long corner. Coming to the closing stages of this first half, the ideal result for South Africa would be to get a goal in and just get a bit of momentum behind their back going into the second half. Cecilio, who had such a good game against Spain, the match which Argentina won 1-0. Thus far, their only victory in this Hero Junior World Cup.
I think Argentina would have been really frustrated with that. I think umpire acknowledged it as well, because he laid the ball off from the aerial and the Argentina forward was in the D on his own.
Well, here was a chance, and the deflection did come in too, and Della Pair just about did enough to deny the Argentinian striker moving into a great position. Martinez. Red hot action near his goal mouth, and Della Pair dealing with that one quite decently. Oh, this has been beautifully picked up, but yet again, super Della Pair.
Good work from Della Pair. He was lively on his toes there. And he's had to be the last 10-15 minutes.
There's a series of attacks coming in from the Argentinians, and South Africa will be desperate to try and clear this ball as far away from their goal mouth as possible.
And there's that aerial again, which they take from one side to the other.
It just deemed a bit high, and it's been nicely picked on by Manson. He's looking for a solo effort, trying to buy some time before his forwards get through. Santiago again comes in, closes the angles down.
Yeah, well defended Argentina. I think Manson, he could have rolled back out again on his forehand and most probably just helped Argentina with the defending of that.
This time a good stick coming in from the defender, Juan Cavassa. 20-year-old from the University of La Plata. But here comes South Africa once again. They've got some good numbers moving forward. 3 against 3. Margraf with a good run. Oh, going for the shot too.
Game's opened up a little bit now, hasn't it?
Less than 2 minutes, and inside the last couple of minutes, chances at both ends, and some good goalkeeping from both René Della Pair as well as his opposite number, Thomas Santiago.
And I think if the game opens up, it does set itself better for Argentina than South Africa.
Yes, both keepers involved in some action in recent times.
As he came to the left here, did very well to get that away, and we've seen some really good reverse stick hitting in this game here, and this is the chance earlier as he laid back through. Very good save from De Vera. Sorry, Della Pair.
But a free hit and a very useful position for Argentina. That's where you want to be when you're 3-1 up in a game. And the closing stages of one half. The breather just around the corner, but here comes South Africa. Full credit to them. They've not taken a backward step in this game at all, and who would? Even though this match is for minor placements. 11th place up for grabs. Oh. Abrams feeling the pinch of that tackle coming in. Just showing the commitment levels of both teams. Fernandez Onega with that attempt.
Yeah, but the whistle had already been blown. I think he was lucky to get away with that, but the whistle had been blown from the previous offence.
This is well worked. Just losing out on the ball. Mohamed Meah was coming up with a good run. He's out of position. He's one of their defenders. Is an opportunity for Argentina. Possibly just enough time for one last attack. Looking for that long ball, intercepted in the middle. And this will bring the time down on this first half. And there we go, the hooter for this entertaining first half in this 11th and 12th place match in the Hero Junior World Cup. It was the South Africans who took the lead thanks to a fine penalty corner conversion from Matthew Brown early on, as early as the 3rd minute. But inside the next 10 minutes, Argentina replying through Gonzalo Peña, and then some very, very fluent hockey coming in from the South Americans. 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes. One from Lotario Diaz, and then the second one coming in from Joaquin Coelho. And then a flurry of chances further from both ends, actually. Even South Africa looking lively in quarters. And that is what they'll be looking to bank on to force a comeback and just open the door a little bit for them to get back into this match. But at the moment, the Argentinian fans are definitely the happier lot because their team has looked a little bit better while moving forward. The halftime scoreline here is South Africa 1, Argentina 3. It is only 11th place which is at stake between South Africa and Argentina. But looking at the action in the first half, you wouldn't believe that. In this Hero Junior World Cup, both teams possibly playing some of their best hockey, in particular Argentina. Didn't start off all that brightly for them though. It was South Africa who struck first. This penalty corner in the 3rd minute. Matthew Brown with a very, very strong drag flick, bringing up his 2nd goal of this competition, and only the 4th that has been scored by South Africa right through. And then the reply coming in from Gonzalo Peña, just taking a bit of a reflection from the man at the post, Captain Dylan Swanpole. And then putting the pressure on this long ball, switching flanks as well. The ball sent in from Potenzoni and bouncing around and eventually bounced on by Lautario Diaz, getting his 2nd goal in 2 matches, successive matches against India and now against South Africa. Argentina sustained the pressure. This was beautifully worked first by Ibarra. And then once again a loose ball picked up and nicely finished off by Coelho, showing some good composure in front of the goal mouth. And even though René de la Paix has had a good game under the bar for South Africa, it's been Argentina who lead 3 goals to 1. Not surprisingly then, 7 shots for them as compared to 4 for South Africa. And quite close in terms of circle penetrations as also the possession. And 1 green card apiece for Guido Potenzoni and Matthew Brown of South Africa. Make sure you do join us on Facebook as well, where we are at FI Hockey, and on Twitter at FIH_hockey, #HJWC. I'm sure all of you are excited. So would she be. In fact, all of them very, very excited about what's going on here. And let us know what you're thinking about this entire tournament, because of course it's getting into the business end, where now every match has a lot of significance attached, and it's all about finishing well, irrespective of how you began in this particular tournament. Bit of a crowd building up as well, David, because we are expecting a good house for what will be an India-Pakistan match. Just to tell you about what's going to happen tomorrow. Some big matches, and the last one is the one to watch out for. All European clash.
It is, and you know, if you were a betting man and you started the tournament, you'd have Germany, but would you have France? And okay, the format of the tournament has worked. Would you have had Australia playing for 5th, 6th place? I doubt it. So, you know, all credit to France though. They've taken each game as it's come through the tournament. They have applied themselves and adapted, and have given a great credit to their sport in their country.
And it's been topsy-turvy because Malaysia are the only team thus far unbeaten in 70 minutes. But this is what's happened today. Egypt finally got their first victory. So Canada winless in this Hero Junior World Cup and finished last. England losing out to Spain in quite a humdinger. South Africa at the moment looking second favourites against Argentina. And then the big one. Never mind if it's for 9th or 10th place. You talked earlier about commitment, about intensity. When Pakistan play India, then all of that goes out of the window.
It does, and most probably just finishes the tournament for India, most probably on a slightly bouncier note. Of course, they'll be desperately disappointed they're not in tomorrow's playoff games, irrespective of how they've played. But an India-Pakistan clash is always an attraction, and I'm sure we're going to see some really attractive hockey later this evening.
Yes, Pakistan also just hitting their straps in the closing stages of the pools, and also did well in their last match against South Africa, where they won 4-0. So the fans of the Young Bucks expecting a fight back from their team. It's been tremendous, really, the support from the families and friends of some of the players coming over. A good thing to have this event in a city like Delhi, because you have people of all nationalities with a lot of interest in sports at large and in hockey in particular. And they always do make sure they make their presence felt when their country plays.
And Argentina are out early, ready for the second half. And really, after an early scare with the goal from Brown, but also a couple of other chances South Africa had, they really got a grip of that game. And as the game opened up, we really saw some of the individual skills that team have.
But when you're faced with a team which is playing as fluently as Argentina are, how can South Africa break them down and get back into this as a game?
Well, the important thing for me is that when they do win the ball or turn over the ball, they keep it. I just felt at times there either that when they did have a break, most probably they didn't have enough forwards to support it, or they didn't have the individual skill that the Argentinians do have up front to create something from a very tight situation.
Yes, for a major part of that half, the Argentinians had about 60% possession, but towards the end of it, as we saw the numbers, it had come down to 56-44. Right. It's the South Africans who get things moving in this second half. In green this time, going from left to right, and up against them in the blue and white stripes. The Albi Celeste looking good, 3-1. Defending on the right, and we'll have some early defending to do. This is well walked, and Manson eventually denied by some alert defending, but a good bright start.
Well, it's similar to the first half. You know, South Africa have a great start.
This is also the fifth match for both these teams inside 8 match days, so it will be as much a question of physical fitness and sustenance as much about mental reserves. And that's where perhaps on a few occasions in the first half the South Africans looked a little bit weary, but they will put all of that behind, because this is one final push, one final 35 minutes. Quite usefully received, but this was...
Here's the chance now. As we went round, Manson didn't really get ahead of him to get that shot away. And very well defended by Argentina.
Just happened with a couple of useful touches, and that's underscoring the skill level of this South African side. Again looking to come through, but Santiago doing well.
Well, that was an interesting decision, because the two defenders, Argentina, that entered the circle, got caught out there. But I don't know what it hit. Yeah, I think it did hit his arm, because that was hit at some pace, that slap.
Oh, look at that. Looks like a golf ball.
Yeah, so as he hits that hit him right on the left forearm there.
And you could catch him just wringing his hand as he was shaping up to defend the next follow-up. Bit of magic spray and a bruise to show for his efforts. But he won't mind, provided they go on to win this and finish 11th. Will be the poorest ever showing in their 9th World Cup appearance now. But nevertheless, always good to finish with a victory, and in their case finish with a victory after having lost their previous game.
And both, you know, lost to India and Pakistan in their games, and also conceded a few goals as well. So, you know, both these teams will want to settle that and get a good result following the elimination from the last knockout games.
Was slapped in, but took a deflection of one of the South Africans, goes out for a long corner. Chance for Argentina to create a little bit of pressure of their own for the first time in these second 35 minutes.
After again, South Africa's really good start. Argentina just got hold of the ball again.
Yes, and moving down the left, Tredza sends it in. Sacheti just can't quite keep it in play.
I think Sacheti was just slightly put off and took his eye off the ball.
Shown some players with considerable talent. A few of them have had some exposure at international level, but a lot of them will hope to establish themselves as part of the senior side in time to come. Mohamed Mea this time for South Africa, turning this one all the way back to Daniel Bell. Had a slightly iffy first half performance, on a few occasions was caught out by the Argentinians. In fact, it was his error which led to the first penalty corner, of which Paylard scored and brought his team back. Now the redhead Sacheti does well. Oh, this could still be a chance. Delapere is diving around, and eventually the penalty corner has gone the way of the Argentinians.
Sacheti did really well then, coming in from the top of the D. As you can see, he'd already cleared one man, put the ball through. Delapere come out to play that. He tried to keep that, but he placed it straight onto his co-defender's foot, which was Bell.
Yes, and again, Bell finding himself just a little in the woes. Good hustling from the Argentinians. Lucas Martinez, as always, doing very well when moving forward.
Once again, a double castle from Argentina.
Pela is the one away from us. He goes for the shot, looking for the deflection, and wasn't too far away from that was Sacheti.
Yeah, Sacheti was coming in on the right side, so as you can see this, it had gone to the right castle, out. He most everybody needs a new pair of boots for skates to get there.
That really did rocket away before he got there. The intention was right, so Argentina just establishing that control, which they finished the first half with. That means that South Africa will really have to do something quite outstanding, and the man almost picking up the ball could be capable of it, but for him to get involved, Matthew Brown, they will have to move this ball out of their defensive third first. And with some numbers behind the ball. At the moment, all too easy for Argentina just to retain possession. Here's Peia looking for a long ball, but nobody at the receiving end.
Yeah, that took a deflection off a South African stick. And Brown had kicked the ball away, so the umpire had signalled it's gone Argentina way, and all Brown do, he saw that, and look what he does.
Very lucky not to get a card actually for it, but what's more important here is that Argentina have yet another scoring opportunity. One gets the impression if they do get up to 4-1, then David, it could be over.
Yeah, I think so. But you can see just from this how this second half is playing out now that Argentina are dominating well anyway. I think they just want to put a bit of reward now on all the possession they've had.
Just switching the castle, and Peia now close to us, smashes it in. That's a top quality conversion. His second goal of the night, and Gonzalo Peia now looks like he's put his team on the road to the 11th position.
So from a very silly decision by Brown, Argentina take advantage. Left Castle across the goalkeeper. That went in with some pace as well. And he released it so well as well. Yes, yeah, I think maybe the man on the line did get a slight. Yes, he did get a stick to it, but it's going at such a pace. If you know, it's a bit more luck than judgment, really.
Yes, not for the first time. So much power that Dylan Swanpole could only help it into the net. Was really hit with some ferocity. And Matthew Brown, his unforced error and really careless error, leading to the situation now. Still a little bit of chatter on.
And there's been a number of corners like that where they're going across the goalkeeper up into the top right-hand corner as you look at it.
So Peia got that hat-trick in the Olympics for the senior team. Can he get one here for the juniors? Certainly with 4-1, Argentina now looking like favourites to wrap up that 11th position for themselves. And South Africa have to score more goals tonight than what they've done thus far in the entire competition, including today. This is useful though. Manson unable to get his way past. Usefully defended by Fernandez Onega. Slipped through by Mark Forey. Looking promising. Going for the reverse hit. Looking for a deflection, but beautifully defended.
That was well defended as well, and the goalkeeper did well to keep the ball down then as well as it came across.
He hit once again for the South Africans, looking to move his way through, but loses out. So Argentina not only attacking well, but also looking solid at the back. And perhaps be stretched again, but easy enough for the men in defense. Tredza.
You see the space opening up for Argentina now.
Indians getting ready alongside the Pakistanis. That will be a good subcontinental clash. Two teams which have won this competition in the past. Pakistan 1979 champions, the inaugural Junior World Cup in fact. And of course India in their hockey folklore. One of their most victories was the 2001 victory. Once again, South Africa moving forward with intent. They have had a few positive moments in the second half, but
really
Argentina coming away.
From Argentina there, Devine. You know, they've worked really hard. So when South Africa are in good positions, then look how they can now counter-attack.
Once again, Sacheti. And it'll be a yellow card.
There's the test block in there, but I think the yellow card is actually to Brown.
Meanwhile, South Africa moving forward. Really has been an very indisciplined performance from the South African defenders, in contrast to what we have seen from the Argentinians. Especially the last 5 minutes, some outstanding defending.
There's some frustration there. So as the ball is played across here, gets the cross in, and actually the goalkeeper stopped it, but it was the defender who'd taken the ball. That was really good, well played, and it was good coverage as well, because not only he was covering the goalkeeper's left foot as well, so not only the goalkeeper, anything outside that could be picked up.
Yes, that was Joaquin Trezza, did exceedingly well, and here he is on the ball, winning this one as well. Just working off that confidence, now moving forward. So Matthew Brown has effectively now picked up a yellow card as well as a green card. He's conceded a penalty corner. So it's just gone a little bit downhill for him after scoring in the 3rd minute. Picked him out as one of the possible standout performers, but just not been up to the mark today with his discipline in particular.
No, no doubt for me that Gallagher, Damien Gallagher, the South African coach, will be pretty disappointed actually, especially they've got to work so hard now that they're down to 10 men.
Dave, you were a fullback yourself, and you can give us an insight about how much discipline and how much concentration you need through the 70 minutes, doesn't it?
Yeah, and for me, I mean, it's a different, in the modern game, but when I was fullback compared to what the fullbacks are doing now. But actually one thing doesn't change is that your ability to defend and also make some very critical decisions in defence and in offence.
This time it's the South Africans moving forward in spite of having that one man down. Oh, nicely worked, but yet again, Santiago comes out, gets some support from his defenders, and that's enough to put off Grant Lutz.
But if you look at, just look at Muller in the German team here. You know, his discipline, his quality of distribution. I think the other guy will pick out is Van Diemen of Holland as well, where you know that not only are they going to defend well, but when they've got the ball, they're going to do something with it which is effective for the team.
Lots of defenders making their mark right through this Hero Junior World Cup. Also the man of the match.
Apologies, Van Diemen of Belgium, not Holland, sorry.
Yes, the other muscles from Brussels, because he does share his name with his more famous namesake, Jean-Claude. But yes, Ricardo Sanchez also giving a good performance in defense today for Spain, who looked really switched on in their match against England. Greg Clark, somebody who knows Darren Gallagher very well, having coached him. Will certainly be looking to his team to come up with a performance. Oh, well, at the moment it's Argentina putting on a show. Every now and then when they get their opportunities, they just try and put it away and put De La Pere under pressure.
It was a great opportunity for Argentina. He accelerated in. I think it was Monge that had actually gone through.
It was an interesting one. Ibarra was possibly looking for some sort of a referral, but Ahmed El Sayed having none of it. So A little over 20 minutes to go. Just judging by the body language, South Africa, they're not giving up per se, but they're also not able to really unlock this Argentinian defense, who've been quite outstanding today.
He's just marking the card, so reminding if he sees it again, I think there's a card coming.
It's fascinating innovation also, this just getting to hear what the umpires get to say every now and then. That's also something that wouldn't have happened in your time, I'm sure.
No.
So what happened on the field stayed on the field.
Yeah, it did. And you know, as you get older, you always say you get quicker. Well, actually, this game is a lot quicker than it was in the 1980s. I can tell you that now.
Interesting you say that, because what's also been visible in this Hero Junior World Cup is one thing, that the gap between the teams is so small, and that's possibly also because there's so much of an exchange of information these days.
Yeah. The world game is just developed so well. You know, television, you know, what FIH have done with television is obviously going to have an impact. And whilst these teams may be disappointed where they finished, if you go and look at the scores of all the matches here from previous Junior World Cups, when you would have seen, in some cases, double digits, you haven't seen that here. So no question that the quality is rising all the time, and the FIH must be absolutely delighted with that because of the spread of the worldwide game, which obviously they want and the IOC want as well.
We've had 195 goals at the time of speaking, and in the meantime there's a change happening for the Argentinians. Good to see Thomas Riarte getting a chance to just get in and get his confidence back. Had a bit of a tough game against the Indians, but Santiago has been quite special today.
I think the other thing I would add as well, that whilst some of the rules are not quite ironed out yet, so the own goal disappears next year, some they've been playing the overhead as well, but in particular if you look at no offside, the self-pass, the rolling substitutions, it's just made the game quicker, more attractive to watch. You know, the self-pass alone has made the ball is staying in play at least another 10 more minutes than it was previously, so you know, it's just making the game more appealing.
Well, one man who will be hoping for an appealing performance today in the background, Manzoorul Hassan, and just in the foreground, Greg Clark. So it'll be a battle of the coaches as well.
Pellet has picked up a yellow card, but then you remember I said to you that the umpires marked his card. Well, I think it was his, because it was an immediate yellow card.
So the first yellow card for the Argentinians going to the captain, Gonzalo Peña. Equal in terms of the card count, 1 green and 1 yellow thus far in this match for the two teams, but Argentina have been matchless in terms of how they have finished off their chances. 4-1, that is why is reflected at the top of the screen. Both teams also very good with their referrals, hence those green dots alongside them. That's another innovation which has come in recent times. I'm sure you will be in favor of that, because the higher number of correct decisions come through, the better it is.
Yeah, they do, and it just reflects the whole tempo of the game as well. And that, as we watch this.
Yes, this is very well worked, and yet again, Delapere doing well to deny Dias.
Yeah, I think, you know, the card system, quite frankly, I actually think that some other international sports should learn from it, in particular football. I think that would be fantastic. Certainly if they looked at a self-pass and the green and card yellow system and rolling substitutions, what could that do for the game of football? So I think the hockey have led the way with that, but also it's a fair penalisation for players now as well.
Oh, this is beautifully worked. Some good dribbling skills, and that results in a penalty corner. But Peña, of course, is serving out his suspension, so it will have to be somebody else.
This is a great carry into the D here. You see, you know, we talk about 3D skills, and it's so difficult to defend, and that ended up on Swampol's foot.
Beautifully done by Perez Pasado, the man who got 1 goal in the match against France, which they eventually lost 3-2, but led 1-0 at one stage, thanks to Perez Pasado. And we have seen some attacking formations from them of these penalty corners. Let's see who it's going to be. Fredza will probably make the stop. Just missing the inspirational presence of their captain. was a strange one.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was flicked. It was pushed out to the stick stopper accurately. So it came out. He took it on his forehand. Just looked to readjust to get a deflection in off the forehand there for a deflection into the goal.
It's also a reflection of how this match has gone, that South Africa, even though it wasn't a clean push out, just couldn't recover on time, and in the end it was more of a deflection which went wide than a save from any of the South Africans. Here they come forward though. Kane Cross sending it in. Comfortable take. The Argentinians have been very precise with their skills this evening. Cecilio has been an outstanding performer. Ibarra. Peya not being there, obviously a little bit of defensive reorganization. Cecilio just getting back into the heart of it. Sacheti. This has been nicely picked up. Fernandez Onega. On to Tredza. Back with Fernandez. South Africa not going to win it at the moment, especially with possession being so overwhelmingly in favor of Argentina.
And you can just see how the game is now playing out now. The Argentinians taking control of the ball. South Africa working so hard at the moment. But Argentina comfortable with their shape and how they're slowly taking control of this as it rolls out for the last 15 minutes.
Thus far in all these knockout matches, there's been only one shootout, and what a dramatic shootout it was too. France against Malaysia. Malaysia leading early, but then France putting on a very, very good lion-hearted performance, not only to tie the game at 1 goal apiece, but then also to come back in the penalty shootout where they were actually trailing 0-1 at one stage, and then you get 3-1 in the end. So a massive event for them to have made the finals, but they won't want to rest on that particular position, but it will be a tough match against the 5-time champions Germany.
And that's a good example of how Argentina were playing. Look how confident they have with getting the shape all the way around the back, out into the left corner.
And Peya's first touch since coming back on sets up Fernandez Onega. Fernandez Pizarro, in fact, this time. Here is the skipper once again. Sacheti getting some support from Ibarra. Back with the number 15, but sent out by Swanpoel. Well done by the skipper. I suppose irrespective of the result in these placement matches, as we've talked about it before as well, what you've got to look at are the overall positives for the entire tournament, and from that perspective South Africa have found a few players with a lot of heart.
Yeah, not just South Africa, I think a lot of all the teams here. You notice that most of the head coaches of these national teams are here as well, so obviously they've got an eye on the future, and you know, who could be stepping up, certainly with the World Cup around next year with 12 teams there. A lot of the teams, you know, South Africa and Argentina alone are in the World Cup next year anyway.
This time once again, well worked. South Africa looking for that second. It's well saved by Reate. Follow-up save too. And good to see high fives from his fellow defenders.
Yeah, good work there from the Argentina goalkeeper. He came in across around the back and he got the ball away really well, but the ball that was lifted did come off the South African stick.
Just like Santiago, learning from his teammate here, Reate, putting on his dancing shoes as soon as the ball went into a dangerous offensive position. Argentina will be quite pleased to retain possession for as long as they can. 4-1 is what they're defending. We have seen a flurry of goals in most matches, but South Africa generally have found hitting the board a little bit difficult. And against a very well oiled Argentine machinery today, they found it quite impossible after that 3rd minute strike. Swanpole getting some support, looking for it back from Fori. Fori was one of the injury worries before this Junior World Cup began. He had a twisted ankle in one of the practice matches against India.
And South Africa really struggling to get something out in the last third at the moment. They have the opportunity there, but if you look at the volume of play, it's really stayed with Argentina.
This has been slipped through. It's looking useful, but yet again Rearte doing well enough, just enough to deny the man ghosting in from behind. Malgraf, the man who was sending that cross in. This is now Argentina moving forward. Ibarra down to the right. Oh, he's got some excellent movement about him. And as Pizarro. Possession once again. So into the last 10 minutes. And Argentina have really been dominant.
They have been dominant, but South Africa have had quite a bit of possession of play in this half, but not made most of it. And look at that, interesting, isn't it? Equal and circle penetrations, even though look at the score. And so 7 shots with only 1 goal to show for it.
And that sums up what has been a good day at the office for both goalkeepers. Tomas Santiago first doing the job, and in the last 10-12 minutes or so, Rearte, who was almost brought into action yet again, is right in front of goal. Keenan Horn got a touch onto it. Cross coming in from the right.
Yeah, he did. He got that cross in really quickly.
And yet again, the Argentinian defense had to regroup very quickly. Some good pressure. Nothing to lose here for South Africa. At worst, 12th position. At best, an outstanding comeback. Here's Ibarra. Got Martinez alongside him, and Potenzoni also in a very good position right in front of goal. The South African defense holds firm this time around.
Barrow's really shone for me today. I know all the attention goes on Pile, but he just turns up quite a number of positions on the right and left hand side in that last third of the field.
Well, this time he and his teammates will need to defend this, because yet again Horn involved in the offensive action, winning a free hit for his team. Very quickly taken. Ian Cross looking to work his way through. And just somehow the Argentinian defense manages to do enough to deny the South Africans, but good intent in the last few minutes from the team trailing this game. 1-4 at the moment, the South Africans. Does look like they won't be able to better their previous performance of 11th, or rather equal their previous performance of 11th, which was back in the Hobart Junior World Cup in 2001, 13th in 2005, and 15th, of course, in 2009, when there were 20 teams in the field.
And now we've got some space on the field now, haven't we?
Oh, beautiful long ball, well received too, turning, sending this one in, but easy for Delapere. Just wonder, did he release the ball a bit too early? He had some time.
He did, but he saw his co-forward there, so as he took it across here, he knew his man was there. He just most probably was going too quickly towards the baseline to get any accuracy on it.
Full credit to the teams into the last 6.5 minutes or so, and it's still being played at a very quick pace. And in the meantime, a card has been flashed.
And and it goes to a red card because he wasn't 5 yards. He's already received a yellow. He leaves the field of play.
And it's the man who really has made an impact today, Gonzalo Payard, but this time in a negative sense, and thank God it's 4-1.
So you see here, looks to take it, and then he just interferes. He's got not much to argue. What he's saying is, the free hit should be further back. But there's where the free hit is. He drags the ball. You know, he may have an argument, but we've seen in this tournament, see, within a couple of yards, they're going to take it.
So 2 yellows making it a red for the Argentinian captain. Now that permanent 10-man position for Argentina, and that's why this 3-goal gap will just help them. Now here comes Malgraf. He's been constantly harrying the defenders with his roving runs coming in. Just not had that penetrative influence himself or the support from his teammates. Early shower for him. Just a couple of those brain explosions, one could call them. Once from Matthew Brown and this time from Payard.
Yeah. I think it might be just reaction of the team, this game, or they want, desperate to win or get not concede any more goals. But actually, from the captain, it's not a great role model. And Brown's was really penalised heavily because the corner that resulted from it, Argentina put away.
And at that stage, 3-1, it still looked like South Africa were in the game, but just looked like that 4th goal from the Argentinians knocked the sails out of them. Having said that, they have hung on gamely. Just not been able to find that ability to prize open a useful Argentinian defense. And of course, it must be mentioned, the Argentinian goalkeepers have been quite outstanding. Reza. Must be said, in spite of having 10 men on the field, Argentina still looking to come forward.
Yeah, they've kept the ball really well and play it around nicely as they pulled the ball out from the back.
He's made his impact with those 2 penalty corner conversions.
So that's another yellow card for Argentina, Martinez. So this will be interesting, down to 9 for the last 4 minutes.
And again, thank God for the fact that they have that 3-goal cushion. How do they approach it now? I would think most of them will fall back to defend. And South Africa have still not considered the option of perhaps taking off their keeper and allowing another outfield player to come in and really put on some pressure on Argentina. At least get 1 or 2 goals in, and you never know. The last 60 seconds or so could be quite close. This is a confirmation of the yellow card on Martinez.
And looking at the activity on the bench, I think they'll go there as well. So I think what happened was the ball patroller had actually put the ball ready on the pitch, and he knocked it away.
Some misdemeanors which have not gone unpunished today. And South Africa do look like they do want to take their keeper off.
I just question whether they should have done this sooner. I know if it's a 1-goal lead, most coaches will look at 2 to 3 minutes. But with a 3-goal lead, I would have wondered if they would have done it a little bit earlier than this.
Matthew Brown is the one who has been told that he can have goalkeeping privileges, but they will throw everything at the Argentinians. This is another welcome break. South Americans will want to get the ball away as quickly as possible. In fact, the last man in defense now effectively is Daniel Bell. So nobody manning the goal. Here comes Fernandez Onega. He's also been a tireless worker for Argentina today. Good position to have one possession for his team.
I think if we just have to try and keep the ball in the corner here and just roll out time.
not much that Adrian Abrahams or his teammate On can do much about at the moment. Just a question of hanging on now, and for South Africa to throw everything at them, get one goal back in at least, and then hope for the quickest possible restart. But they give the ball away. Mohamed Meir. This was slapped in with a lot of power.
And in the air, I think it caught him just below the knee, and I felt that from here. As he goes in to close him down, it lifts and straight into the side of the knee.
He's down for the count at the moment, but tells you about how much of an impact Ibarra has had. He's been involved in attacks. He was involved this time in looking to defend. It does look like he will play no further part, but he has done the job today.
Yeah, he has. It's interesting as we watch him play. A lot of work, he goes unnoticed, but he picks up lots of play either side of midfield going forward. Certainly been very impressed with him today.
The 11th position is now within sniffing distance if it wasn't earlier. Just a little over 90 seconds. Only time one would think perhaps for a consolation goal if South Africa can get there. Argentina still down to 9 players on the field, 1 goalkeeper and 8 outfield players, and yet they come away with the ball. Potenzoni.
And South Africa sitting back. If you put a kick and back on, you go chasing the ball. They've not only got an extra man, they've got an extra 2 men at the moment.
Yes, absolutely. No Ibarra. So 8 men. 3 at the back, 1 in the middle, and 3 up front looking for this long ball. Sacheti might get across to this. This will be game, set and match. Outstanding save from Matthew Brown.
He did. Really well. There was a missed aerial here. Sacheti had come through. He had his head up to his fair and put that at well, it was actually going wide. But Brown did fantastically well there.
This is another chance yet again, just squirting across the goal mouth. They have this penalty corner. And with the referrals left, South Africa are going for it.
I can hear you. The South African player talks about the ball in 6 meters on foot. Can you help me, please? Okay, looking for a stick or foot.
So he carries it in here, goes to the right, or dummies to the right, places that. It's a stick. The only question mark is whether it was the back or the front of the stick, just looking from that angle. Well, we'll see.
Can you hear me? Yeah? I have a decision for you. It's a long corner. South Africa keeps their referral. Thank you.
So quick decision from Bruce Bale there.
Yes, just a little irrelevant at this stage in that sense of what the result will be, but can Argentina find a 5th goal here?
It would have been interesting how South Africa defended the corner without a goalkeeper though.
In Argentina without Pela. So most dramatic and most entertaining match, but just setting the scene for what will be an absolute humdinger between Pakistan and India. But the 11th position is Argentina's to keep. And South Africa, some blood, some sweat, some tears, as they finish 12th at the end of this Hero Junior World Cup. And a really entertaining game in the end. But in balance, one would have to say, David, the fair result in terms of what happened.
Yeah, totally. I think that Argentina showed good composure. South Africa had good starts to both half, but in the end, I think just a level of composure, good pattern of play, good conversion at corners, just a combination of that. And if you just saw that what they were getting out of the circle entries compared to South Africa.
South Africa started with a goal from Brown, but 2 penalty corners from Gonzalo Peña, and then field goals from Lautaro Diaz, as well as Joaquin Coelho. See them through to the 11th position. The final score here at the National Stadium is South Africa 1, Argentina 4. And a fine reward it has been as well for what was a tenacious performance right through this match. Something for their fans to smile about at the end of what has been a tough Hero Junior World Cup campaign. Placed in a difficult group, lost out 5-2 to Australia, then lost out 3-2 to France, and eventually beating Spain in their last match 1-0, which allowed them to come third in their particular group. And then losing to the hosts India 4-2 a couple of nights ago, and then coming back today, pumping in those 4 goals. And even though there was some indiscipline in the end, a couple of yellow cards and converted to a red for Gonzalo Peña, but good to see a positive result in the end. And this was that moment, Gonzalo Peña with the conversion, and it came off an absolute moment of indiscretion from Matthew Brown, the defender for South Africa. And Gonzalo Peña not one to look a gift horse in the mouth. Dylan Swanpole with a slight touch onto it. Then another penalty corner and a touch on as well, and just over. So they lived dangerously to the South Africans in defense. René de la Paire yet again having a good game. They had some moments of their own, with some good goalkeeping. First from Thomas Santiago, and then his replacement, Thomas Riarte, doing well on a few occasions, coming out of his line and making sure that they did everything right. And this was the late attempt, which could have really been a goal. Sacheti picking this one up. There was no goalkeeper in position. And what an outstanding save by Matthew Brown. Just wasn't enough in the end. This last-ditch attempt where Argentina thought they might have a penalty corner, just coming off the stick of Dylan Swanpole. So acknowledging the support that they've had from their fans and supporters as well as family. That's been the story right through the Hero Junior World Cup. They have come in good numbers and made their presence felt. And Carlos Genero has something to celebrate at the end of this Hero Junior World Cup. Right, so Argentina have the 11th place thanks to this 4-1 victory. Let's go down for the post-match presentation to Charlie Broom.
Yeah, thanks, Daban. Welcome to the Hero Man of the Match presentation. I'm delighted to say I've been joined by David Collier, the tournament director here at the Hero Junior World Cup, and he's going to present the Hero Man of the Match trophy to the number 10 from Argentina, Carlos Ibarra. David, if you could do the honours. Congratulations, Carlos, on your Man of the Match performance, and you also get a cheque for 12,000 rupees. Well, while Carlos receives the cheques, I've been joined by Herman, who is the Argentina team manager. And Herman, a good performance for your last match.
For me? Okay. Yes, we think we got a good game, the last game. We don't have a very good tournament, but finally we can play the best way we can do it in the last game.
Is that more of the side we should have seen earlier in the tournament?
Yeah, yes, I think that this is the way we should play the first games also. But it's okay, it's the way, it's the game.
But as a whole, how has the team found the experience of Delhi and the Junior World Cup?
About our team, yeah, we really expect to be between the 8 first team, but all teams are very tough, so I think it's part also of the tournament.
Many congratulations, unlucky, and good flight back to Argentina.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So the second last match of the second last day of competition in the Hero Junior World Cup sees the Albi Celeste putting on a dominant performance. And those will be borne out by the numbers from this particular fixture. Argentina certainly creating the better chances. South Africa also hanging in there. 7 shots to 11 isn't a bad reflection on the game. 18 circle penetrations to 20. So it wasn't always one-way traffic. But in the end, Argentina with the greater indiscipline. 1 red card, and that was to Gonzalo Peña, who also converted 2 of the 5 penalty corners, which went to the Argentinians. So it's been an entertaining day already in this FIH Junior Hockey World Cup. Egypt beating Canada 3-0, England going down 2-3 to Spain, and Argentina 4-1 But in just a short while from now, at 8 p.m. local time, it's a match for 9th and 10th place, but it's something worth much, much more when Pakistan take on India in a huge, huge game. Do join us for that particular match, because that one proves or promises to be an absolute humdinger.